On a serene morning in the subway, Marine Liam Carter was traveling back to his base after taking some time off for bereavement. In the nearly deserted train car, he observed an unsettling interaction between a man and a young girl, which appeared deeply troubling due to the man's tight grip and the girl's fearful expression. What Liam was about to discover on this fateful morning would prove to be more sinister than he could have imagined, revealing that a Marine's duty to safeguard the innocent remains ever present, whether on base or during a routine commute. Before we delve into the story, let us know where you're watching from, and if you find these narratives compelling, don't forget to subscribe. The morning air was crisp and cool in the empty subway station as Lance Corporal Liam Carter made his way down the stairs. His sharp Marine uniform contrasted starkly with the dull environment, standing as a symbol of order amidst the early chaos. The echo of Liam's footsteps reverberated through the station, a reminder not only of his physical presence, but also of the emotional weight he bore from recent losses. It was precisely 6:15 a.m., and with only 45 minutes left until his report time at 7 a.m., Liam was keenly aware of each ticking second. Today marked his return to duty after a brief 2-day leave granted for the funeral of a fellow Marine, a young life lost senselessly to an overdose during training. The memory of his friend, forever youthful in his dress blues, haunted Liam, underscoring the fleeting nature of life even among the bravest. As he approached his platform, Liam's military-trained eyes automatically scanned his surroundings. The station was unusually quiet, with only 3 other individuals present, a stark difference from the typical morning rush. His attention was drawn to a man of distinct immigrant features, wearing a denim jacket, who stood close to the platform's edge, his hand firmly on the shoulder of a young blonde girl dressed in a vibrant school uniform. Despite the cheerful appearance of her attire, Liam detected a tension in her posture that seemed out of place. The third commuter, engrossed in their phone, barely registered to Liam. His focus remained on the man and the girl, an unusual duo that ignited his instincts. Offering a polite smile and a nod, Liam greeted them with a crisp, "Good morning," embodying the disciplined courtesy of his military training. The man responded with a friendly, "Good morning," acknowledging Liam's presence. "Just another day, huh?" Liam remarked, maintaining his polite demeanor. "Yes," the man agreed, his grip on the girl's shoulder tightening slightly. "Walking your kid to school?" "That's right," the man confirmed. "Schools start early these days for the young ones." Liam nodded, unfamiliar with the schedules for young children, and the exchange continued with an uneasy familiarity, as if the man had rehearsed this dialogue many times before. Something about it unsettled Liam, but he couldn't pinpoint exactly what. Checking his watch, Liam noted he had a few minutes before his train arrived. He headed to a nearby vending machine for a coffee. As the can dropped into the slot, a sudden commotion caught his attention. The young girl had broken free from the man and was now gripping Liam's arm, her eyes wide with desperation. Before Liam could react, the man approached quickly, pulling the girl back with an apologetic smile. "I'm so sorry," he said, his voice strained. "She's just a bit anxious about her first day at a new school. Would she like a drink?" Liam offered, hoping to ease the tension. "I've got some change." "No, that's not necessary," the man declined, his voice tight as he guided the girl back to their spot on the platform. The girl nodded reluctantly, her eyes brimming with tears as they waited for the train. As Liam observed them, a strong sense of unease grew within him, though he tried to dismiss it as an overreaction. After all, first-day nerves were normal for children, weren't they? Taking a sip of his coffee, Liam attempted to calm his nerves, but the disturbing feeling lingered, challenging his resolve to remain uninvolved. However, he quickly apologized before disconnecting the call. As he slumped back in his seat, a wave of conflicting emotions washed over him. Doubt gnawed at him, but the image of the girl's frightened face lingered, fueling his concern that something was deeply amiss. As the train journeyed on, Liam found himself unable to avert his gaze from the pair, The girl was now smiling, nodding her head as she clutched the dollar bill, resuming her seat beside the man. Rubbing his eyes, Liam felt a wave of exhaustion. His years in military service had perhaps made him overly cautious. Was he perceiving threats where there were none? His thoughts drifted to his comrade's funeral, the weight of recent events bearing down on him. They had shared so much, yet he had failed to notice his friend's struggle with depression, the signs leading to a tragic overdose. This realization shook Liam to his core. Unconsciously, his hand moved to his watch, a gift from his late father, another Marine. The cool metal against his skin not only grounded him, but also reminded him of the heavy responsibility of his uniform, to protect and serve, a duty extending beyond the battlefield. Internally, Liam was torn. His training and instincts screamed that something was wrong, that the child was in danger. Yet, his recent experiences had shaken his confidence in accurately reading people and situations. The fear of overreacting, of imagining threats where there were none, warred with his innate need to protect the innocent. As the train slowed, approaching the next station, the speaker crackled to life, announcing the stop. This sound jolted Liam back to reality, refocusing his gaze on the scene before him. He watched as the man and girl rose from their seats, preparing to exit. His mind raced. If he was wrong and caused a scene, he'd certainly be late for his report time, a serious misstep especially after his recent leave. But if he was right and the child was in danger, he couldn't ignore it. Just as the doors began to close, Liam caught sight of the girl through the window. In that brief moment, their eyes met, and she deliberately raised a hand, forming a distress signal, a universal gesture of distress that Liam recognized instantly from his training. In that split second, all of Liam's doubts evaporated. His military instincts snapped into sharp focus. As the doors began to slide shut, Liam made a split-second decision that could alter the course of his day and potentially save the girl's life. With agility honed by years of military training, he squeezed through the narrowing gap, his heart pounding as he stepped onto the platform. The cool air of the station hit his face, a stark contrast to the stuffy interior of the train he had just left. Liam's eyes immediately sought out the man and the girl as they made their way through the crowded station corridors. A quick glance at his watch showed it was 6:45 a.m. Following them meant certain tardiness for his 7 a.m. report time, and the potential consequences of being AWOL weighed heavily on his mind. Yet, the memory of the girl's distress signal overrode all other concerns. Using his tactical training, Liam maintained a careful distance as he trailed the pair, keeping his headphones in and phone out to mimic the distracted demeanor of a typical commuter while never losing sight of his targets. The man led them out of the station and onto the bustling city streets, the early morning crowd providing both cover and obstacles for Liam's pursuit. "And it's okay to feel that way. I'm here to help you, and I promise I won't let anything bad happen to you." Karina looked at Liam, her eyes filled with a mixture of fear and hope. Slowly, she began to relax a little, sensing the sincerity in his voice. "You can trust me," Liam continued, his tone reassuring. "If there's anything you want to tell me, anything at all, it's safe to do so here." Karina hesitated, her grip on her backpack straps tightening momentarily before she finally spoke in a quiet, tentative voice. "There's a man," she began, her voice barely above a whisper. He's not nice. He scares me." Her words confirmed Liam's suspicions, and he felt a protective urgency rise within him. "Do you mean the man who brought you here today?" Liam asked gently, making sure to keep his tone calm and non-threatening. Karina nodded, her small face scrunching up as if the memory caused her physical pain. "He said he's my uncle, but I don't like him. He's always around, and Mom doesn't know he scares me," she confessed, looking down at her shoes. Liam's heart clenched at her words, the reality of the situation settling heavily on his shoulders. "It's very brave of you to tell me this, Karina. Liam praised, offering her a gentle smile to bolster her courage. "You're doing the right thing by speaking up. Now, I'm going to make sure we get you to a safe place where you can be comfortable and not scared anymore." Karina's eyes lit up with a glimmer of relief, her inherent trust in Liam growing. "Can I stay with you?" she asked, her voice hopeful. Liam nodded, his resolve firm. "Yes, you can stay with me for now," he assured her. "I'm going to take care of everything. But first, we need to make a quick stop to talk to some people who can help us make sure you're safe." Understanding the need for immediate action, Liam took out his phone and discreetly dialed the local authorities, explaining the situation in brief, coded terms to avoid alarming Karina. He requested assistance at the school, emphasizing the urgency without causing a scene. Once the call was made, Liam stood up, offering Karina his hand. "Let's go for a little walk," he suggested, his tone light. "We'll meet some friends of mine who are really good at making sure kids are safe." Karina placed a small hand in his, her trust in Liam evident as she walked beside him, her steps more confident than before. They headed towards the front of the school, where Liam had arranged to meet the arriving officers discreetly. As they walked, Liam felt a weight lift from his shoulders, knowing he was taking concrete steps to protect Karina. His military training and instincts had guided him through the situation, but it was his compassion and resolve to protect an innocent child that truly made the difference. When they reached the designated meeting spot, a pair of plainclothes officers were waiting, having been briefed on the situation. They greeted Liam and Karina warmly, ensuring the transition was smooth and non-threatening. "Karina, these are my friends," Liam introduced. "They're going to make sure you're safe. I'll be right here with you, okay?" Karina nodded, squeezing his hand tightly as they began to speak with the officers. Liam watched over Karina as the officers took their statements, his protective gaze never wavering. He knew the road ahead might be challenging, but he was committed to seeing it through, ensuring Karina's safety and bringing her so-called uncle to justice. His actions today had not only potentially saved a young girl's life, but also reaffirmed his dedication to his duty, both as a Marine and as a guardian of those who could not protect themselves, and ensure that they were discreet in their approach to avoid alarming Karina further. Pulling out his phone once more, he made a call to the local police, requesting their presence at the school with specific instructions to handle the situation sensitively due to Karina's current state. "Officers are on their way," Liam informed Karina, trying to keep his tone light and reassuring. "They're very good at helping in situations like this. They'll make sure you're safe, and they'll talk to your mom too, so she understands everything. It's important that everyone who needs to know is informed, but we'll make sure it's done right." Karina nodded, her small face showing relief at not having to face the man she feared again. "Will the police talk to him?" "The man?" she asked, her voice quivering slightly. "Yes, they will," Liam confirmed, "and they'll do it in a way that keeps you out of it. You don't have to see him or talk to him again if you don't want to. They're trained to handle these situations very carefully." As they waited for the police to arrive, Liam kept the conversation light, asking Karina about her favorite subjects in school and her hobbies, trying to keep her mind off the more frightening aspects of their conversation. It wasn't long before two officers arrived, introduced by Liam as friends who were going to help. The officers, both experienced in dealing with sensitive cases, greeted Karina gently, kneeling down to her level to talk to her. They assured her that they would take care of everything and that she did nothing wrong. Liam stayed close by, a comforting presence for Karina as the officers explained what would happen next. They discussed the immediate steps with Liam, ensuring that Karina would be taken to a safe environment while they investigated her claims. They also planned to talk with her mother as soon as possible, explaining the situation in a way that would not alarm her or cause undue stress. Karina, now a little more at ease, clung to Liam's hand, her grip tight but not as fearful as before. "Thank you," she whispered to Liam as the officers began to make arrangements to transport her to a child welfare office where she could be more comfortable and receive further support. "You're welcome, Karina. You're very brave, and you did everything right today," Liam replied, giving her a reassuring smile. As the officers prepared to leave with Karina, Liam promised once again that he would follow up and make sure everything was being handled properly. As they walked away, Liam watched them go, a heavy but hopeful heart marking the moment. He knew the road ahead for Karina might be tough, but with the right support and intervention, she would recover and hopefully lead a safer, happier life. His role as a protector, both as a Marine and a civilian, had never felt more fulfilling. He had made a significant difference in Karina's life today, and as he returned to his duties, he carried with him the solemn pride and responsibility of his service. "As soon as I make sure Karina is settled and safe," Liam responded, his voice firm yet fatigued from the morning's ordeals. The lead detective nodded in understanding, acknowledging the priority Liam placed on the young girl's safety. As Liam returned to the school, the atmosphere had shifted palpably. The initial chaos had settled into a controlled urgency as the staff worked to maintain normalcy for the other students while dealing with the crisis discreetly. Miss Casey approached him as he entered, her expression a mixture of relief and concern. "We've informed Karina's mother about the situation. She's on her way here," Miss Casey reported. She was very upset, but grateful that someone was looking out for her daughter. "Thank you, Miss Casey," Liam said, offering a tired smile. "I appreciate your handling of the situation despite the complications earlier." Miss Casey nodded, a faint smile breaking through her earlier reserve. "Karina's safety is our first priority," she affirmed. "I must admit, I was skeptical at first, but it's clear you had her best interests at heart." Liam spent the next few minutes with Karina, reassuring her that her mother was coming and that the police were taking care of everything. When her mother arrived, overwhelmed with emotion, Liam watched their reunion from a distance, feeling a profound sense of relief that he had been able to protect the girl from further harm. After ensuring that Karina was safe with her mother, Liam prepared to leave for the police station. He was stopped by Karina, who ran up to him and hugged him tightly. "Thank you, Liam," she whispered, her voice muffled against his uniform. "You're welcome, Karina. Remember, always be brave," Liam replied, gently ruffling her hair. With a final nod to her mother and Miss Casey, he headed out to fulfill his duty in providing a detailed account of the events. At the police station, Liam provided a comprehensive statement, detailing every interaction and observation that had led to the apprehension of the suspect. His detailed recall and military precision helped the officers piece together a timeline of the suspect's activities. The detective in charge, Sergeant Marquez, was particularly interested in Liam's descriptions of the suspect's behavior and the tactics he used to approach Karina. "Your military training certainly came into play today," Sergeant Marquez noted, flipping through the pages of Liam's statement. "We've been tracking a rise in similar incidents, and your information could lead to broader investigations." Liam nodded, feeling the weight of his actions not just for Karina, but potentially for many other children. "I just did what I had to do," he said modestly. "I hope it helps you catch more people like him." Sergeant Marquez assured Liam that his intervention had indeed been crucial, and that the police would be following up on the leads provided by the IDs found on the suspect. "You've done more than just your civic duty today, Corporal Carter. You've likely saved other children from this predator's reach." As Liam left the police station, the sun was setting, casting long shadows across the city streets. The events of the day replayed in his mind, each moment a reminder of the ever-present dangers lurking in unsuspecting places. But as he walked back to his daily life, his stride was firm and his resolve stronger, knowing he had made a tangible difference in the world that day. Liam assured her with a warm smile, "And I promise, whenever you need to learn more about bravery, I'll be here to help you." Karina's smile widened, her earlier fears momentarily forgotten in the glow of newfound safety and admiration for her rescuer. As Liam stood up, Jocelyn reached out, her hand brushing his arm. "Thank you, Liam. Tomorrow evening, then. We'll be waiting for you. Karina will be thrilled to show you her Marine Dad's medals. She's got quite the collection." Liam nodded, his mind already on the tasks ahead, but warmed by the thought of returning to this family that had unexpectedly touched his heart. "I look forward to it," he said, his voice tinged with a reverence for the bond he felt, forged in the fires of today's trials. Leaving the school, Liam headed to the police station, his stride purposeful but his thoughts introspective. The day had been a stark reminder of the realities of his duty, not just in foreign fields but on home soil as well. He had acted as both protector and a bridge between peril and peace, embodying the Marine Corps values he held dear. At the station, Liam gave a detailed statement, his recollection precise, aiding the police in their ongoing investigation. The officers were grateful, and Sergeant Marquez, in particular, made a point of shaking Liam's hand firmly. "Good work today, Corporal. Your actions exemplify the best of us." After completing his duties at the station, Liam returned to his base, the day's events replaying in his mind. He reported to his commanding officer, who listened intently to Liam's account and nodded approvingly. "Carter, you've done more than was asked of you today. Make sure you take some time to decompress. You've earned it." That night, as Liam lay in his bunk, the day's adrenaline finally receded, replaced by a profound exhaustion but also a deep, indelible sense of fulfillment. He had made a difference, a real one, in Karina's life and potentially many others. The weight of his responsibilities as a Marine had never been clearer, nor had the impact of his actions. As sleep claimed him, Liam's last thoughts were of the dinner invitation. He looked forward to the meal, not just for the food but for the company and the chance to connect further with Karina and her mother. It was a small respite in his disciplined life, a personal reward for his dedication and bravery. The following evening, as he approached Karina's home, the smells of a hearty meal welcomed him even before the door swung open. Jocelyn greeted him with a bright smile and a warmth that made the small house feel like a home. Karina rushed to him, her earlier shyness replaced by excitement, eager to show him her father's medals and to hear stories of bravery, both her father's and now Liam's. As they sat down to dinner, the conversation flowed easily, filled with laughter and shared stories. Liam found himself unexpectedly at ease, drawn into the family atmosphere that he'd missed in his own life. The evening passed quickly, with promises to stay in touch, and as Liam departed, he felt a renewed connection to his community and his role within it. Walking away, Liam knew such days were rare, the intense challenge followed by heartfelt thanks, but he also knew each day carried its own promise. Each day was an opportunity to live up to the Marine motto, Semper Fidelis, always faithful, always brave, always ready to serve. As Liam crossed the threshold of the base, he carried with him not just the weight of the day's actions, but also the affirmation of his role beyond the battlefield. Each step was a reminder of the Corps' values that he had upheld: honor, courage, commitment. These were not just ideals to aspire to, they were realities Liam had lived and demonstrated through his decisions and actions. Inside the base, his superiors were already briefed on the situation. As he walked into the commanding officer's office, he was met with nods of approval. His report was thorough, detailing each phase of the incident from the initial encounter to the suspect's apprehension and the insights gleaned during his police debriefing. The officers listened intently, appreciative of the details that might help improve their own protocols and training. Lance Corporal Carter, the commanding officer, began once Liam had finished, his voice imbued with a rare warmth. "Your actions today reflect the very best of what we stand for. You've saved lives, not through combat, but through vigilance, bravery, and a deep commitment to protecting the vulnerable. Liam acknowledged this with a firm nod, feeling the gravity of his actions more than ever. "Thank you, sir. It was my duty, and I was just fortunate to be in the right place at the right time." The conversation shifted towards the implications of his actions. "What you did today," the officer continued, "will serve as a case study for our training programs. Protecting our community means understanding and responding to threats, both foreign and domestic. You've exemplified that superbly." As the meeting concluded, Liam felt a profound sense of purpose solidify within him. His role as a Marine was multifaceted, extending far beyond the expected. As he left the office, his thoughts returned to Karina and the dinner invitation. That personal connection had added a new layer to his understanding of service. It was not just about following orders. It was about making a tangible difference in the lives of individuals. Walking out into the fading light of the day, Liam felt the exhaustion of the day's events finally catching up with him. Yet, there was an undeniable energy within him, a renewed sense of mission. As he headed home to prepare for the next day and the promised dinner with Karina and her mother, he knew that his actions today would resonate far beyond the accolades and the debriefs. Liam's involvement had changed a life, perhaps even more than one, and as he laid his head down that night, he did so with the peace of someone who had not only fulfilled his duty but had transcended it. He had become a protector in the truest sense, and as he drifted to sleep, he did so with the knowledge that his service was a beacon of hope and safety in a sometimes uncertain world. The following evening, as he approached Jocelyn's home, Liam was not just a Marine. He was a guardian, a friend, and an ally. This dinner, this family he was now part of, reminded him that every act of bravery, no matter how small it seemed at the time, contributed to a larger story of heroism and humanity. As he rang the doorbell, ready to share a meal and stories, Liam knew that today, like every day, he had truly lived up to the motto Semper Fidelis.